Hey guys, this is an update on the Space Marine helmet. So yeah, right now it's about ready for moulding. I just got to clay up the eyes and fix up the bottom. I end up moulding and casting the original piece, and these are casts. I gave them a little sand work on the tops and the backs, and now once they sit in there, sit pretty flush, but I'm going to wait till I mould and cast it, then I'll fix up these gaps. But yeah, it's basically how they'll sit. I also will be making little attachments, like all different little bits, like a skull or the Blood Angel's blood drop, or maybe a few other different bits that might go on the top. And what I am thinking about is installing magnets, one on the inside and one onto every little attachment, so you can have whatever attachment you want. And same for these, I'm going to put magnets in here and also on the inside of this plastic, just so you can connect it, and if you want to change it, just take it off and whatever attachment there is for the side, just yeah, with magnets. That's the way I'm going to do it. But that's maybe it's if I decide to keep one for myself. Probably not. So yeah, it's about ready for moulding. I just finished up the grill just before. So it's the side. End up moulding and casting these bits separately. Yeah, so right now I just need to fix up the bottom, because you can probably see here it's a bit messy. So what I'm not going to do is I'm going to get some either plastic card or even cardboard, since it's just mold. I'll be moulding it. I'm going to slap it on top, covering the whole top, then I'll turn it upside down. And I'll trace along the edges, just so I got that extra probably 10 mil of it, because if you can see here, it's not exactly flush to the ground, so I'll be filling all these bits in with clay once I've gotten it all flattened out and everything. But so far, yeah, just a little update on it. And I will be casting these in fiberglass resin, because since this is more of a like helmet with barely less any detail, it's just all these areas just smooth, plain, and everything. It's smoothcast 320 will take quite a bit for it, and it'll get a bit heavy. So to explain that, this is a smoothcast 320 for the old visor buck, and you can probably see it's got quite a bit of bend to it. So yeah, this is one fiberglass with only like a layer and a half, probably 2 layers, and as you can see, it's barely bending at all. So it's a lot more tougher, just for an open flat area. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing, is casting all these in fiberglass, just so it gets a bit more strength to it, and it'll also be a bit lighter. So yeah, just a little update, and I'll be back once I have this guy molded, which should be after my New Year's video. Here's the helmet. It is ready for molding. I clayed up all the eyes and under the bottom, as you can see there. Guess I forgot that little bit. I'll clay that up, but or I'll just leave it. So this is the helmet. Let me tilt the camera. So there we are. There's the back. There's the side. There's the front. So it is ready for moulding. It's on a sturdy base. It can take a lot of weight, and that's what you want, because if you put it on a stick and the stick gives way, then your helmet's screwed, because the silicone actually weighs quite a bit. So you want to make sure it's on a sturdy base where it's basically got little to no movement once it's got some weight on it. That's why with this it's very sturdy, so it won't be falling or leaning or anywhere. Traffic cones are really handy for that. So yeah, I will be back once I have it molded, and actually no, I'll be back once I have the first coat to show you basically how smooth it is and if things went wrong. So I'll be back then. Guys, this is the first layer all done, nice and smooth print layer. So right now I'll be doing one more print layer just to make sure it's all locked in, because there's just some, when it end up thickening, I end up just going over with a brush and it's cured like that. So I'm going to do one more layer over the whole helmet, this one a smaller batch because I end up filling this up with silicone, and they're going to be my mold keys. So I'll be adding that in layer 2 layers from now, which will be with a 5X. So I will be back once I've got it basically second layer on and ready for the thickening layer. Well, update on the Space Marine helmet. So this is the molding. This is I've done the 4th coat. I did 2 layers, normal dragon skin, no adhesives, 1 layer of 5X and another 5X. Added the mold keys on the 3rd layer and just gave them a bit of extra strength around the sides on the 4th layer. So I still got another, I would say, 2 layers to go, bringing it up to a total of 6 layers. I'm going to do a split mold just to give it a bit more ease out of the mold, because this will actually, I'm also molding it under here, as you can see. I'm going to do a 3-part mother mold, one for this side, one from that side, and one like in a ring on the bottom. So we'll see how it turns out, but I'm going to split it here, and that's why I've added these 2 mold keys on each side, because when I do the ring, that will go all the way around the helmet to help support the bottom here. It will basically help support it and get these in to make sure all the corners and everything and these bits don't flap around when I turn it upside down when I'm casting it. So they got to be properly supported into the bottom of the mold bit. Still got to add a bit more layers. I've got to go in just a little bit more. This is why I'm going to do 2 more coats. One coat's going to be to thicken mainly the bottom of it, and basically to do all the little edges and corners that may be a bit thin. And then I'll be doing one more layer of just dragon skin with red tint to make it just so I can see where I have gone over, because with dragon skin it's translucent, so it's kind of hard to see where you've gone over. So it's good to get some dye and just make sure you get the job done properly. So I will be back once I have it all molded and ready for the mother mold. So all the layers are on now. It's nice and thick. It's got some good mold keys. Some mold keys were natural, such as these bits. They will sit into the mold quite nicely. I decided to add this one here last minute because these side ones aren't leaving that much of an indent, because the amount of silicone I've actually poured in onto the helmet. It's a good thickness, I think. So yeah, I will be back once the mother mold is done and I have casted it. So booyah. Guys, just a quick video. Space Marine helmet has been molded and the mother mold is in its shape. It's a 3-part mother mold. I just drilled all the holes. Going to use a total of 13 bolts to hold it all together. So yeah, with the I end up going over 6 coats of silicone, and I did only 1 layer of fiberglass and a layer of rondo. So right now I just got to split it and see how we went. I did use Vaseline, so well, petroleum jelly is what people call it, but some of the resin leaks out into the gaps, so you just got to separate it. So I'm just going along all the edges, just helps separate it.
For the bad quality, I'm now recording off the iPad. So from when the camera went dead, it took me another 5 minutes to get the mother mold off. It's just all the little bits in between. So I've got the other two sides off. So just got to take this off now. It should just pop off. So just nice and easy. There's the mother mold over here. Actually, I'll put it right there on the camera since you can't see it. So there is the Space Marine helmet, all molded and dusty. Have to do a clean. Okay, so right now I am going to do a 2-part mold. If you just give me a second. Helmet's dropping. This is just a plastic bag full of padding and all that, just so it can be a bit more comfy, saves it being on the hard surface. So I'll be splitting it right down the middle here, so I can't see the camera. See, with the iPad you've got to have the camera all the way back to capture just this. So what I'm going to do, you want to make sure you got a sharp blade. Yeah, so after I did all the coats, I ended up doing one coat especially for the bottom, just to make it a bit more thicker, just so the edges and everything have a bit more strength to it and it's not thin. Okay, I think that's enough. So now I just got to separate it. Upside down. See, with Dragon 10 it's pretty stretchy, but with this mold, since it's got so many sharp corners, I want to make sure there's not really that much pressure on the edges, just in case I did do some thin spots. So, and the reason why I wanted to do a 2-part mold, it's because this main grill bit here, so I just got to carefully pull it out. Because the Dragon 10 medium, it's fairly stretchy, but sometimes it can rip a bit more easier. Because last time I worked with Dragon Skin 20, and it was really stretchy and quite strong, but it had really long cure time and demold time. So that's just cardboard. So peel off. Nice and smooth, that's what I like. Peel it on this side. There we are. There's the original, if you can see that. There you go. Now you can wear that as a helmet. Kidding. Kidding. Calm down. It's turned out pretty well. Corners come out pretty good. Really no air bubbles, because Dragon Skin 10 medium is very thick and dense. And they say you should use a vacuum chamber or whatever, and just get all the basically air bubbles out of it, so there wouldn't be while molding. But that's why I did 2 print layers and then a thickened layer, just to make sure the print layer is very smooth, no air bubbles, and all the other little air bubbles that you can see are basically in the previous layers. The grill turned out pretty good. no, I was really worried about air bubbles in the top. There's this one right here, but it should hold for a good few pulls. If not, then it just means you've got to Dremel out that little bit. Wherever the air bubbles are, plastic will seep into it, and it usually breaks the mould, stretching it a little bit. So you've got to be a bit careful of them. But it turned out pretty good. So right now, I'll put it back in the mother mould, and there we are. All good. Well, it's thick enough that it can hold its own shape, which is pretty good. But it's not like really thick, like. So it's pretty good. I would say it's probably about centimeter. Oh, sorry, probably about 1.5 centimeters thick. Yeah, this was the thinnest spot, and that's probably about 0.5, maybe 0.75. Yeah, but it's pretty thick. If it's good enough, it can hold that shape. It's pretty thick. So, yeah. Space Marine. So this has been casted in fiberglass, and it ended up was a bad cast because it's got these bits all through it. Yeah, because I knew something went wrong during the first layer or two, because it started peeling up the tiniest bit on its own. I think because of the air. It got really hot in here this day. It reached like 45 here in the shed. So yeah, it got really hot. So some of the details were just not really captured at all. So that's why I only did a very thin layer of fiberglass. I didn't want to waste all my fiberglass on something I knew was going to turn out bad. Because as you can see, it's not even smooth at all compared to the original, which is here, which as you can see, it's bloody smooth, because I spent ages smoothing it. But I will be casting it once I get some more polyurethane plastic, which I have ordered, which will be coming very soon.